Hey, this is Paige and I have another design breakdown video for you. So this is Corolla. So earlier I did another Corolla layout with I call it the figure 8 design, and this is Corolla with, I don't even know what to call it. We call it like intertwining or intercepting circle design. How about that? So Corolla is a really cool one. If you're wondering, why do we call it Corolla? It's spelled like Corolla, like the car, but it's actually pronounced Corolla. It is inspired by a town in the Outer Banks that they pronounce it Corolla. So I'm going to talk about some reasons why this page stands out and some fun things going on here. What I will say about the Corolla die cuts themselves, I wouldn't say they're the most contrasting on this grid paper. This grid paper is Persimmon from Fresh and Fruity. I liked that it had multiple colors in it. It was fitting for this area. These photos were taken in the Pandora section in Disney World. And so I thought this was a nice kind of earthy background that fit with that area. And I don't know if you can tell, but the die cuts were actually cut with one of our ombre colors. So sometimes we do use the back of grid paper because the colors or the patterns on it are so nice that it's cool to use it. So this is something a little different. I don't normally cut my dies with something like ombre where there's multiple colors, but it kind of gives it a very unique look. And for the Pandora section, it lights up really cool at night. You can kind of see here, there's all these multiple colors. So that's what it reminded me of. So it doesn't stand out as much on this paper. It kind of does over here with this brighter pink. But I love how there's multiple colors. It just reminded me of that story of the park, especially at night. Although most of these colors are done during the day. But I still want to make sure there's colors too that were contrasting enough for the photos. And part of the reason why I think it's contrasting is because a lot of the photos, especially the daytime photos here, you know, they have a lot of natural greens, browns, those kind of colors. And then this is so colorful that it contrasts that natural color scheme in the photos themselves. So Corolla is really going to provide you a really great design. It's obviously symmetrical, but photo placement is still very important. So in the middle, I have the focal point, and then these 4 sections, maybe you can tell it's kind of like a triangular, rounded triangle section, each one. And I added more portrait photos because those spaces are a little bit bigger. Maybe I could have added more here, but I didn't want to go for that. Instead, I chose these sections. So this is one photo, this is a photo, this is one photo. So I took my dies and fit the same photo in multiple spots. So that makes it look cool, in my opinion. And what I like about this layout, and I love doing this, especially with dies like this, as I call it the photo within a photo effect. So this section is all photo, and we have our portraits here, but then we have photos of the area, the Pandora area, and it kind of looks like I stuck that photo within these photos, and it looks so cool to me. So I'd say take advantage of that with the level 3 dies in particular, especially if you have Corolla. We have some other ones that'll give you similar effect because the dies make this so easy, and that's why it looks so neat and interesting, is because we didn't just stick, you know, pattern paper here, and that still would have looked nice. I really like using pattern paper, but the photo effect makes it look like we're there. Help us remember what this place was like. It brings the feeling back. Maybe not quite like when you're there, but it just gives us this fun atmosphere around our portraits, and it makes you remember what it was like to be there. Like we were surrounded by all of this. So I really love playing with photographs. This is totally done intentionally, by the way. This is, at least for in this case, was not an accident. And so I want to challenge you guys. I don't see this a lot, but I want to challenge you guys to start taking these photos when you're traveling or even in your hometown. Maybe it's just the woods behind your house, but something that's in about the landscape or the atmosphere you're in. Have your, you know, your portrait photos or whatever subject you have, and then place them in that environment in a way. that's what makes this page so cool, and I love it for that reason. It's what makes it stand out. And another thing I want to point out is in the corners, even a little bit in these triangle sections, these were photos taken in the same section, but at nighttime. So when I made this layout, I had a hard time. I just felt like we didn't have any pattern paper that really fit. It just, nothing was really working. And I decided to get out these photos that were taken at night, and it worked really well. So why it works is because it's contrasting. It's, you know, you don't see a whole lot of the photo, but it contrasts everything else and frames the rest of the page. And that's what I feel like. It's like this nice frame, but it still gives you a hint about where we were. It still shows a little hint about what we saw at nighttime. So it helps tell the story of this section as well. So think about the story, think about trying to add in the environment to your pages. Again, the Corolla dies are going to give you great balance automatically when you form the layout like this. So something to think about is the storytelling on your layout. And I want to challenge you to do that more often, or at least for your next layout, try it out and see how it goes, and let us know how it goes. Anyway, let me know what you thought of this page below. What stood out to you? Why do you like it? Let me know. I love hearing your comments. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.